Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back into No One Asked Us. I'm Craig Choate. That is the Logan Lee. This is episode 51 of our show, No One Asked Us. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor. If you're on YouTube, give us a like on the video down below. You're already here. It just takes one click. Hit the thumbs up for us, and then hit subscribe while you're there. Get our subscribers up, and it'll let you know every time we post a new episode like this, or a new post game, or a live watch along that we are going to try and do a couple more times, I think, this season. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, just give us a rating and a review as well. It really helps boost our show and lets us know what you guys are thinking of the content. As always, chapters are in the descriptions. For those that might not want to hear everything, if you want to hear something specific, they are in the descriptions. YouTube, it's easy. Just click the time code. You have to scroll a little bit for Apple and Spotify. Like I said, I'm Craig Choate. That's Logan Lee, at Craig W. Choate, at the Logan Lee, at No One Asked Us Pod is our show Twitter, where you can find all of our episodes and all of our content. Thanks for joining in. Logan, thank you for joining in. How's it going?
Happy birthday, Craig.
A couple days late, but thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I wish you happy birthday the day of your birthday too, but it's fine.
You did.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
You feel older now? How old are you now? 35, 37, 40? Where are we at?
It's been a
32?
good show, guys. It's been a good run. Logan is getting the boot off of I'm 32. Turned 32 on Saturday. And I will forever be grateful to Logan for not sharing the post publicly that he shared with me privately. I don't know what I was thinking when I sent that
was
to
close.
him 6 or 7 years ago.
It wasn't that long ago, but shortly after it, you deleted your Snapchat. So
Yeah. It was good. It was good, chill. Saturday, we did go to the Louisville game on Saturday. Lost to Logan Lee's Notre Dame Fighting Irish out of South Bend. But that was our first Louisville basketball game. It was fun. The arena is really, really nice. So yeah, it was good. Other than that, sat on the couch and watched an outstanding week of football. So couldn't have asked for a better gift from the NFL this weekend, which we will get into. What'd you do this weekend? Anything?
Well, Craig, I am happy to report. First off, it was a very productive weekend around here, but I'm very happy and very sad to report that my house has officially been de-Christmasified. So all of the seasonal Christmas decorations, I say that because there are some Christmas decorations that will never come down. Aside from the lights on the outside of the house, everything is down. So that was a good chunk of our weekend, especially on Sunday. Productive weekend around here. Not only was it your birthday this weekend, it was Allison's birthday last week. So kind of extended the celebrating on that throughout the week and went to dinner Friday night and everything. So it was good. I mean, I'll admit, and we'll get to that discussion, I didn't watch a ton of the Illinois game on Friday night. I did catch a good chunk of the second half, I guess.
There was a game? There was a game Friday?
We can forget about that one. But no, it was a good weekend around here. And there's a lot more room to move in my house now that I don't have 2 giant Christmas trees taking up a good chunk of my
2-tree family.
1,400 square Craig. There are 4 trees in my house.
Oh,
one of them just stays up year round.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you're not a family that has a Christmas tree that stays up, and then like in April it's an Easter tree, and then October it's like a Halloween tree. I
do know people that do that. It doesn't really necessarily get decorated, but there is a tree in my house that does stay up year round. But yes, during the holidays we do have 3 trees in our not huge home. So
I was gonna say we didn't have room for 1 this year. I don't know how you find room for 3.
Oh, we find room, baby. But no, that was our weekend. So it was good. It was good.
Good. All right, let's hop into the show. We're gonna start with our typical moment and question of the week. Then we're gonna talk a little Illinois basketball, probably a lot of Illinois basketball. There is another MVC Missouri Valley note that we will discuss. Some Illini football news, NFL. And then I didn't tell Logan this, but I had a big week in the movie TV department.
Oh, wow.
we're gonna have stuff to talk about that Logan
that's
was not
wonderful.
prepared for. So we got that.
That's incredible.
Well.
Great.
We're gonna start though with moment of the week. Logan Lee, you go first.
Well, I'm going to ask you this. I do want to talk about some celebrity gossip.
Okay.
Do you want to do that as the moment of the week, or should we save that for later in the show?
We'll do like the ends, like our entertainment section.
Okay,
so,
we'll save that
we'll
for later. So
yeah.
I do have another moment of the week that I do want to highlight. A name that I have mentioned on the show once or twice before, but I definitely want to give her a shout out. Caitlin Young.
Yeah.
From Oakwood, Illinois, from Oakwood High School, obviously my hometown, playing basketball at Murray State in her second season there with the Racers, just absolutely tearing it up. She's like conference player of the week, seemingly like every week or every other week at this point, has been for a while now. But she was just this past week named to the Becky Hammond Player of the Year midseason watch list.
Wow. Which
is the award. They've been doing it for a few years now, but it goes to the best mid-major player in women's college basketball. And they named 15 players to this list, and she is one of them. Wow. So like, that's really cool. Like a sophomore out of Little Oakwood is putting up those kind of numbers. I looked it up. She's like 20 points a game, almost 8 rebounds a game. Both of those are leading the Ohio Valley. I think she's in like the top 10 in the country in several categories, like in all of women's college basketball, not just the middle major schools. So she's having an excellent season. So I wanted to give her a shout out for that. Don't know if she'll win the award obviously by the end of the year, but certainly she's in the conversation being one of the top 15 mid-major players in the country. So shout out to her. Yeah. And excited to next year see her play in the Missouri Valley.
That's what I was going to say.
It's going to be a little bit better competition. Yeah. And I mentioned it that, family and people back, they had a large number of people that traveled to the game at Eastern. I saw a picture of when they played in Charleston I saw that as well. Martin Luther King Day. Yeah. They had a bunch of Oakwood people at that game. So it'll be nice that they get to go to a few more of her games where they're playing in the Missouri Valley. So they can go to Illinois State and Indiana State and Bradley and Valparaiso. I'll probably try to get over and see her play at Valparaiso too. So shout out to her. That was really cool. She's doing a lot, and OVC player of the decade. That's what we've been saying for months on Twitter now. My friend Josh and I, we've been sharing the love. So OVC player of the decade, and then she'll have to be the OVC and the MVP.
I was going to say, she's leaving.
It's hard. It's going to be hard to make a case at this point, but Josh and I have tried so hard, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was my quote unquote moment of the week. So
yeah, I obviously remember her at Oakwood from my time at WCIA. I don't think I ever covered any of their games. Maybe one or two.
Yeah.
Not many.
They were good. Obviously it was a lot. The focus was on her, but they had some other players around her too. One of my best friends is the coach there, the girls coach at Oakwood. She just hit like her 60th win or something the other day.
I saw you tweet about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Stephanie Marsh is the girls coach. But yeah, they had a good run when she was there. Oakwood in general has had good girls basketball teams. I mean, when I was in high school, that was, really some of the best sports we had was girls basketball. Stephanie's a year older than me. And so she had some really good teams there. And I think they were close a year or two from really making a run. A couple of those seasons, like my sophomore, senior year, something like that. Yeah. They were pretty darn good, but yeah, they're good. And Caitlin Young is fantastic.
So did she originally commit to SIU?
I don't think so. No, I know that they had scouted her.
Okay.
I don't know what all schools she looked at. I don't remember who all was in the mix, but I do know that Southern looked at her because I do remember talking to her a little bit during that process. Okay. Just kind of about Southern and things like that. I don't remember which coach was recruiting her at the time, because I think it was somebody that I did know from when I was with the program. But yeah, I don't think she committed there.
I thought I saw she committed there, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. A girl from Oakwood going to SIU. Logan had some influence there.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But I do know that they were in on her at least. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Great player. I know I don't know her, but I know who she is, and I know she's really balling out at Murray State.
We have the same birthday. Fun fact.
Oh,
Caitlin Young. I mean, she's obviously significantly younger than me.
Younger.
But yeah, April 29th. Shout out.
Okay.
April
Awesome.
29th birthdays.
Awesome.
Us and Jerry Seinfeld. What's up?
Oh, I don't know. There is a celebrity, but I don't know who it is.
Oh, come on. Somebody has your birthday.
They do, but I don't remember who it is.
What day was that? That was Saturday. That's
Saturday,
22nd?
January 22nd.
Oh, look, you talk. What you give me your moment of the week.
So I'm going off of the sports path here for my moment of the week, and I'm going with the story that has kind of taken the nation over this week. I'm sure everyone has seen it. A reporter in West Virginia was hit by a car while doing a live shot, and people are up in arms about it, and they are finally noticing the less glamorous side of the TV business. And every point that has been made about this reporter getting hit by a car is a reason that I am glad I got out of the business and a reason why I got out of the business. Let me preface this. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, Logan, but I wouldn't say a rant, but I'm going to air some things out.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
Festivus here. Festivus in January.
Speaking of Jerry Seinfeld.
Let me preface this as saying I loved my job at WCIA. I loved doing what I was doing at WCIA. I was getting paid to go to basketball games. I was seeing the best facilities in the country, Big Ten campuses, best teams in the country. I loved every second of it, but not for a single second was it worth what I got paid or the time that I put into it. And that's not WCIA. That is the business. And that's what I'm talking about here. Nothing that I'm about to say is a knock on WCIA. It's just the business of local TV. So this reporter, Tori Yorgi at WSAZ in West Virginia, was doing a live shot outside at night in really cold temperatures. She was the only one there. It used to be called One Man Band. It has now become multimedia journalist, to be all inclusive there. Multimedia journalist means you are setting up the story yourself. You are shooting the story yourself. You are shooting the interviews and doing the interviews yourself. You are editing the video yourself. You are writing the story yourself. You are presenting the story yourself. You are setting up the camera yourself. You are running the live shot by yourself. You have no help whatsoever. And you're making, I'm not going to say exactly, but you're making in the $30,000 range if you're lucky. And you're working 40 hours a week at the least if you're lucky. Normally 50 hours a week, but only getting paid for 40 hours a week. That business is not good for you. You have to have a certain mentality to survive in that business. And every point that has been made, national reporters are talking about this story, talking about how corporate just sucks their employees dry. And I'm glad people are finally noticing it. I hate that it had to take a reporter getting hit by a car during a live shot to notice, but I'm glad people are noticing that the TV business, there's a lot of things people don't know about it that make it not a good place to work. So I could go on and on, but we should move on from it. But that is my moment of the week. Shining some light on this, this TV business, because Tori Yorgi, who, funny enough, it was her last week at that station. Did you see that? It was her last week at that station. She's going to Pittsburgh. I'm on her Twitter right now. She announced on January 12th that her next stop is Pittsburgh. So it was her last week at this station. She gets hit by a car. I saw she was on CNN talking about it. It's just a moment that I'm glad happened, but also it sucks that it happened. It's just shining some light, and I could talk forever about it, but I'm glad people are noticing that reporters at local TV stations like that get taken for granted way too much.
I don't want to stress on a lot of this stuff, I don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, but
yeah,
I mean, it's hard for this to be a thing probably at every single TV station because a lot of markets can't afford some of these things. But I mean, do you think there should always be a photog with reporters?
No.
Or
okay.
when they're doing live shots, or what would you say is when is a photog necessary for a reporter? So
for reference, obviously I traveled to New York twice, Phoenix once. I think those were the only ones I did. A niece went to Florida when Illinois played at South Florida. Like WCIA sends their sports people all over the place.
Right.
Those are doable. You're in an arena. You're at a game. Those are doable by yourself.
Yeah.
Every home game, they do the live shots. They do the pregame show. They stream the pressers. Those are doable. Situations like she was at an apartment complex covering winter weather at night by herself. You need a photog for that.
Yeah.
She's a female. Like, it's dangerous, not only for weather, but for other reasons. It's dangerous out there by yourself. I don't think news live shots should ever be multimedia journalists. Like, if you don't have the capability to send someone out there for protection or help, either or, then you should just do it from studio. That's where I come from. Certain situations, they're doable. If it's in the middle of the day in a populated area, maybe, you can do it yourself. But then you come across with the fact that you have tens of thousands of dollars of equipment and a ton of people there that can just grab it. It's tough too. It's doable, but if you can avoid it, I would say you always need a photog to run your live shot.
I agree. I think obviously I haven't actually professionally been in this business, but I knew and did enough as an amateur to know, and I've seen it enough that there are certain situations where it should just be mandatory.
Yeah.
There's a photog with you.
And
not every situation, as you said, not every single live shot needs it. But yes, she was in a situation where she absolutely should have had somebody else there.
Yeah. And one last thing with this, live shots have changed. 10, 15 years ago, you had to drive the big truck and raise the big mast and turn it the right way and call in and get the shot. Anymore, even my 5 years at WCIA, it's called a backpack. You literally, it's a little machine like this big.
Yeah.
You plug a cord into that, plug a cord into the camera, press a button, and then you just call and be like, "Hey, do you got me? Yeah, we got you. All right, good."
I mean,
where you need the help is the communication.
Right.
It's not hard. You just call and like you put your headphones in like I do now, and it's just a cell phone number that you can call, and it's your IFB, what you hear, what the people are telling you, and when to go and all that. So it's not hard. It's just you need help sometimes.
Situations like that, it should be mandatory to somebody's with them. Yes, I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
All right. You were looking something up before I started.
Yes, you do have one celebrity birthday in particular.
I feel like, is it like a rapper?
Well, Logic. Logic is
Logic.
One, yes.
Yeah.
But there's a bigger one.
Man. What's the industry?
Culinary arts.
Is it Paula Deen?
No. Guy Fieri.
Yes. Yes.
My guy, Guy Fieri.
Yes.
Big Guy Fieri fan.
Yeah.
Love
Happy
Flavor
birthday,
Town.
Guy Fieri.
Love Flavor
Forgot
Town.
about that. All right, moving on. Thanks you for letting me indulge on the TV business for our moment of the week there. I know I probably went way too long, but moving on to question. We did not have a question of the week last week to go over. We didn't throw one out. Did we throw one out there? I didn't check our Twitter.
We talked about it on the show, but I kind of
never did.
And never actually tweeted.
Question of the week is Logan's thing, so we just skipped over it last week.
Whoops.
This week, and it's a topic that we will talk about more here in a little bit. Should the NFL change the overtime rule? Just yes or no? Does it need some sort of change? I hope this is one-sided, but we're going to throw it out to you. It's just as simple. We're not asking what you would do or what needs to be changed or anything like that. Just does there need to be a change? Yes or no?
We would love comments, though. Feel free to comment on
please.
feel free to comment in the video. Like, that's cool. Like, if you have ideas or thoughts in the video, that'd be cool. Or even on Twitter where we put the question out there. Would love comments, but all we really need is a yes or no.
Yeah, comment in the YouTube comment section, or tweet at us back if you tweet back at us if you have thoughts of what you would like to see change. If you want to see anything change with the NFL overtime. All right, getting into the bulk of the show. We did not do a post game for the Illinois Maryland game on Friday, mainly
Friday
because
suck.
Friday games suck. 1 and 2, we just kind of want to block it out from our brain. So as soon as we get done talking about it today, we are no longer going to discuss what happened Friday night. Illinois goes on the road and loses at Maryland 81-65. Just absolutely demolished. Kofi Cockburn was out. He did not play. He has a concussion as of now. No update that I have seen on his status yet. So he missed that game, and Maryland really took advantage. It was close for the most part. I just had it was a 4-point game with 5:44 left. And then Maryland just went on an absolute tear and ended the game on like I don't even know, 17-5 run. I think it was 24-7 run to end the game, something like that. So Illinois drops to 13-5, 6-2 in the Big Ten. Alfonso Plummer led with 18 points. Grandison had 14. Trent Frazier had 13. Bossmans Verdonk had 6. Coleman Hawkins had 5. Curbelo only had 4, with 4 rebounds and 4 fouls in 14 minutes. It was really a 5-man rotation. The 5 starters, Bossmans Verdonk, Grandison, Plummer, Williams, and Frazier, 35, 34, 34, 25, 24 minutes. Curbelo 14, Payne 13, Hawkins 11. So not a ton of depth on Friday night, and Maryland really, really exposed Illinois for not having Kofi. Dante Scott had 25, a career high 25 points. Just Illinois did not have an answer for him. Like I said, it was close, and Illinois battled for a lot of the game, for 30 minutes of that game. And then the second half just collapsed and let Maryland pull away and win it by 16. I know it's without Kofi Cockburn, but that's a game that you shouldn't lose by 16, but you really shouldn't lose at all. You're a good enough team to beat Maryland without Kofi Cockburn. They just weren't prepared to play without Kofi. How much did you watch? I know you said you didn't watch a ton, so how much can you add to
I
this?
didn't hardly see any of the first half. I did at least see most of the second half. I wasn't paying as much attention. I was paying enough attention to see Plummer get hot at times. But that second half, it was just awful. You can just, there are a lot of things wrong with this team.
Yes.
Now you could say that's a stretch, seeing how they're 13-5 and only 6-2 in the conference, or 6-2 in the conference. They've only lost twice in Big Ten play. Yep. Granted, those have been their last 2 games. I want to see this team play healthy. I just want to see a healthy Illinois men's basketball team on the floor. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen it. Now I can't really defend what happened at Maryland. But I will say a few things. One, even Illinois playing without Kofi for what has now been 4 games, and without Curbelo, which has been for most of the season, with Trent being not fully healthy for at least a couple, 2 to 3 games, they're still 13-5. They're still 6-2 in the conference. So I don't want to jump the gun and start panicking, because that's certainly not the situation. That's not what we're trying to suggest here, because I do think this Maryland game was just forgettable. Sorry if I was shaking the camera there for anybody that was actually watching this. You weren't actually watching the screen, so you wouldn't know.
I wasn't. No, I'm looking at betting lines.
It is frustrating, because we do know the talent that this team has. We do know what they're capable of doing. And they just failed to show it Friday night. The other thing I will say is I mentioned this on Twitter. The Big Ten is a bloodbath.
You did say that last night.
The Big Ten is an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah.
Realistically, I'll ask you this question. How many losses do you think the Big Ten champion ends up with? I mean, right now, Michigan State only has one loss.
5 or 6.
Illinois and Wisconsin and Ohio State all have 2 losses. So, sure, realistically, I mean, it's possible that somebody could finish with a lot less than that. But I just, 5 or 6 is probably right. I don't think this is every single night. A ranked team is going to go somewhere and lose. It could be at home. It could be on the road. Illinois was just another victim of this over the weekend. As I said, I want to see this team healthy, playing together. Whether that happens now or whether that happens, as long as it happens by the beginning of March, I guess we're fine, assuming that they're still in good enough standing to make the tournament. Right. But I don't know. It was certainly frustrating to even partially watch like I did. So definitely one to forget. And you'll have those. We knew this team was not perfect. They haven't been perfect. They've struggled several times throughout the season. But that was one that you definitely should have had.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Post game, Underwood said a couple things. Curbelo had like 100.6 degree flu or fever.
Yeah.
So he did not feel well. That's why he only played 14 minutes. Trent Frazier, Brad Underwood said today, Monday, in his press conference that Trent Frazier took a pretty nasty fall the day after or the day before the Purdue game in practice. So he played bad defensively because he was hurting from the fall he took in practice. You had Kofi that was out. You had Coleman Hawkins, who just got over the flu. I don't think he had any effects of that. But like you said, it's just when are we going to have our full – if you're Brad Underwood, it's like, when are we going to have our full team? Yeah. But he's not going around making comments at press conferences like Penny Hardaway did. He's just coaching his team. That could be another moment of the week. If you haven't, look at what Penny Hardaway said in his post-game press conference.
I don't know what world Penny Hardaway thinks he's living in.
I don't know who thought Penny Hardaway would be a good college basketball coach.
Well, that's a conversation for a different day, but does he just think that Memphis is like the only team that's struggling with health issues and keeping players on the court?
Did you see?
Has he not looked around the rest of college basketball?
I think it was. Let me try and find it. It was Isaac Trotter, former Illini Inquirer reporter. He's now a national reporter for 24/7 Sports. He quoted something like the day after. Evan Maya on Twitter. He does a bunch of stats and stuff. Here's the games missed by rotation players from top 100 teams per evanmaya.com. Gonzaga, Arizona, and Duke have really benefited from great health this year, while Illinois and Houston have already had to overcome a lot of injury issues. So games missed by rotation players. Illinois has missed nearly 25 games, and they're still they're top 25 now. And that's the most in the country. Memphis has missed less than 15 games, and they're ranked close to 50th by their rotation. So Isaac Trotter said, no one showed this to Penny Hardaway, please. I digress on that. Maryland game without Kofi, so take it for a grain of salt, but it's a game you should have won. Just nothing quite – it never quite clicked. Illinois hung in there, but it just never could quite get over the hump and couldn't stop anybody, and the offense was just atrocious without Kofi in the middle. So now we move on. A game Tuesday night, tomorrow night, 7:00. It is on ESPN. It was a game that could either be on ESPN or ESPN2 or wherever they wanted. They did decide to throw it on ESPN against number 10 Michigan State. Michigan State coming in after a win on the road at number 8 at the time, Wisconsin, and they took it to Wisconsin. It was a 20-point game at one point. They're 15-3. They were leading the Big Ten, right? Is that correct? 6-1. Yes. They were leading the Big Ten at 6-1. Do you have any initial thoughts?
We'll see who plays.
Yep.
I mean, I think I think the roster that Illinois has on the court and whether or not they're healthy will have something to do with it. I think a fully healthy Illinois team is definitely more than capable of winning this game. But if they don't have Kofi, if they don't have a healthy Trent or a healthy Curbelo, no chance. No chance. I mean, I think you could realistically get away with not having one of those guys. I mean, they've made it this most of the season so far without having Curbelo, so you could probably get away with not having one of them. But not having Kofi is a challenge in itself. So I'm not expecting much. Is this a home? This is a home game, correct?
Yes, this is home.
They go to Michigan State a little later, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I obviously I think they're certainly capable of doing it, but if they're not healthy, if Kofi's not on the floor, I think it might be a lost cause.
Yes,
just because he is that important to this team.
Yep. So
That's
as of now, game lines normally come out 24 hours prior. So we're not quite to the 24-hour because it is 6:00 on a Monday night. And I ask you this all the time, and you always tell me, well, if you ask me this, then it's not what I think it should be. So what do you think the line is right now? They normally come out 24 hours. DraftKings does not have theirs out, but I did find one that is out. Illinois is number 24 in the country. Michigan State is number 10, coming off a big win. Illinois coming off a loss. Logan's not really a gambler, so it's tough for him.
No, I'm not. But I'm just trying to even think what they know, because that's the thing. I'm not sure anybody knows anything, right, especially about Illinois right now.
Brad Underwood talked to the media today, and of course was asked, and this was at 1:00 Central. He said, "I'll know more at 2:30." So I think Kofi had a appointment or had a check-in at 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern with the doctors. So as of now, there's no status update on Kofi.
I don't know. I would think at least. I don't know. I'm not even sure what to guess.
Who do you think is favored?
Michigan State.
Illinois is favored by 5.5 points.
I was going to say Michigan State by 5. So
10 points off there, Logan. The Vegas Insider. Vegas Insider.
That clearly tells me that
I'm not calling you Vegas Insider. I'm saying
person is expecting that Kofi's playing. Illinois is going to be healthy.
Yes.
That's all that is, and they don't really know. So
my question is, do I throw my paycheck on Illinois or Michigan State plus 5.5?
Maybe. I mean, I would strongly consider if Kofi doesn't play, I don't think there's a chance.
No.
If Kofi plays and is healthy and you don't have Trent or Curbelo at 100%, I think they could still pull it off.
If Kofi plays and if everyone plays, I think Illinois can definitely win the game.
Yeah.
But if Kofi doesn't play, that takes 15 points away from Illinois right there.
Right.
That's a huge swing. If Kofi
I understand that line. Assuming Kofi plays, that's pretty much the difference maker in that.
Yeah.
So that person was expecting him to play, and I was expecting him to not play. I think he's the difference between 10 points. Absolutely.
Should have talked about this when we first started talking about the Maryland game and Kofi being out. How on a scale of 1 to 10, how shocked were you when the reports started coming out that, Kofi wasn't in Maryland this is what happened because we haven't said it yet. Apparently Kofi posted on Snapchat a picture from Champaign the night before the game, which everyone knew the team was in Maryland because the team flies out the night before, and they always post when they get there that we've landed in College Park or wherever it is in Maryland. They always post on social. Well, after they posted that, Kofi posted on his Snapchat that he was still in Champaign. So then the rumors started flowing all over the message boards, and my texts and all my group chats started going crazy. And I started texting a couple of people and all of that. It wasn't until the next day that I think Jeff Goodman and John Rothstein and all the national guys tweeted that he wasn't with the team and he was out with the concussion. So when I initially texted you the night before, I texted you the screenshot of the message boards.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, like, was it shock or was it like, what was the reaction? Like, give me a break.
Yeah, I think I was almost I was certainly wasn't expecting it. But I think it just kind of numbed me. I think I'm already kind of numb. Just from everything else that this team has gone through this season with Curbelo and with 3 guys at the beginning of the season not playing, and then Kofi being suspended for 3 games. And I wasn't shocked, but I think I'm just kind of numb to all of it. And it's just
was it you that tweeted something about, well, it's only January 24th.
Yeah.
Let's just get to March.
Yeah. That's what I said earlier today, which I stand by that. I mean, I think that what I said was I have to remind myself that it's only January 24th and that if this team is healthy going into March, they're capable of doing big things, which I do believe is true. Yeah. But that if continues to get bigger and bigger every day. I think this is a team that is certainly capable of at least making it to the second round or to the second weekend of the tournament. Granted, last year's team was capable of that too, and that didn't happen. But I think there's enough talent here to do that. I don't know that this is the Final Four team. I've yet to convince myself of that. I've heard other people mention Illinois as a contender to get that far. And I can certainly understand that to an extent. If you have Kofi dominating and Curbelo comes back and all these things are clicking, sure. I think there's enough there. But I haven't convinced me that this team is actually going to be to that point. Yeah. I would at this point, I would honestly be happy with, winning a couple games in the Big Ten tournament and winning a couple games in the NCAA tournament. Like I would consider those 2 things to make for a successful season at this point, just the way everything else has gone. Yeah.
Short answer for me right now. I know we're still 2 months away from tournament time, or I guess not quite 2 months. I need a Sweet 16. I think I need a Sweet 16. Although a lot can happen from then. Because if Kofi misses the same number of games that Curbelo missed with his concussion, just win 1 game. But if everyone is there, if Kofi is playing and Curbelo is playing and everyone's playing, this needs to be a second weekend team. This needs to be a Sweet 16 team.
Let me ask you this, because I think all 3 of these things are certainly still feasible at this point in the season. If I were to give you 3 choices and you could choose one, what would you choose? Big Ten regular season champion, Big Ten tournament champion, or Sweet 16? You can only have one of the 3. What would you choose?
Sweet 16. Illinois needs a run in the tournament. They haven't had a run in the tournament since 2005.
And Sweet 16 would justify that's obviously making it that makes it to the second weekend. Yep. That's further than they made last year without a Sumer on the roster. So I get
Illinois,
that, but
Illinois needs to make NCAA tournament noise.
Yeah.
Even if they make it to the Sweet 16 as a 10 seed and they go 500 in the Big Ten and don't make any noise in the Big Ten tournament, but they make it to the Sweet 16, I will be thrilled because Illinois hasn't made a Sweet 16 since 2005.
So not that I'm disagreeing with you, but I just want to clarify. You're saying you would rather have an Illinois team that finishes 500-ish in the conference and wins those 2 games in March versus a team that loses 3 or 4 games in the Big Ten tournament or in the Big Ten regular season and wins the Big Ten regular season title, or wins however many games in a row to win the Big Ten championship.
I would rather be a 6 to 8 seed in the Big Ten tournament and lose in the Big Ten tournament then go to the Sweet 16 than what happened last year.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I certainly don't want to revisit what happened last year.
Exactly.
I do not
exactly
want that again.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I wouldn't feel as bad if they were Big Ten regular season champion again, or even Big Ten tournament champion or whatever. I guess they weren't regular season champion last year technically. But that's fair.
Yeah.
I get it. I want that too. I definitely want just make it to the second round of March. But right now they have to get to March.
Right. A lot of basketball
left.
They have
to be healthy.
A lot of basketball left. There isn't a second game this coming week at Northwestern, Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on Big Ten Network. Northwestern's not bad. I've watched a couple Northwestern games. They're not at the bottom of the Big Ten anymore. They might be playing on that Wednesday night. They might be a 11 to 14 seed in the tournament, but they're not 14 anymore. Like they,
well, no, they're better than Nebraska, but are they really that much better than anybody else? You think?
I think so. I think they're probably better than Penn State.
Penn State, Minnesota. I mean,
I don't know. Minnesota's been playing well.
I mean, they're just right now the bottom of the standings.
They're not the doormat that they used to be. Like if you're not careful, this team will beat you. This is a Maryland type team.
That's fair. No, that's understandable. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's a game that with or without Kofi, they should win. Kind of like Maryland. So that's the other game on Saturday. We will likely have either a watch along on Tuesday night or a post game show on Tuesday night, so we can talk more about that there. But that is the second game this week. Anything else, Illinois, that you want to talk about?
No.
Okay. Moving on to other men's college basketball news. Just got an ESPN alert that Dick Vitale announces that he will need surgery for dysplasia and won't appear for the rest of the season on ESPN. So good vibes, sending good vibes to Dickie V for recovery. It was so awesome to see him early in the season get those big games and be on the call for a couple monster games. And everyone's so excited to see him back after his diagnosis, but not going to see him anymore this year, but he just needs to get healthy and take care of himself first and foremost.
Yeah, he's had a rough year. He's had a lot of things going on. Somebody posted this a while ago, and I don't know if we ever talked about it on the show. And obviously it's not going to happen this year, but I want to see CBS and ESPN come to some sort of agreement to get him on the call for some tournament games.
Yeah.
It just needs to happen. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if it's just one game or if it's a weekend or whatever. Not saying it has to be the Final Four, but I think he needs to be on the call for some NCAA tournament games. Hopefully next year. It needs to happen. It needs to happen for Dickie, for college basketball. Team him up with Brad Nessler. I mean, they worked together in the past when Nessler was with ESPN. I mean, whoever, he'll work with whoever, but just he needs to be on the call for a tournament game at least one.
Yep. Other news, Auburn is number one in the AP poll for the first time in school history.
They're good.
I had a lot of people coming at me on Twitter on Saturday because I was watching their game against Kentucky, and I said, I feel so disgusting rooting for a Bruce Pearl coach team. And everyone was like, you need to get your priorities in line, dude. You're not an Illinois fan if you're rooting for Bruce Pearl. I'm like, all right, it was 1989. I wasn't even born yet. I hate Kentucky. Like,
I'm with you.
I had some people like coming at me like, dude, no, like whatever. I'm just reading the ESPN headlines here. Arizona State's head coach was suspended and fined after a confrontation, apparently. I saw that confrontation with the refs. John Stockton's season tickets at Gonzaga have been suspended because he does not choose to abide by their mask rules. Does his son still play there?
I don't
think so. I think he must just go because he's an alum.
He's an alum, yeah.
Saturday, me and Christy went to the Louisville game against Notre Dame. I think I mentioned that. They did. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. They retired Russ Smith's jersey, his number 2 jersey from when he played. I think he graduated in 2014. I think
Was this an actual jersey retirement, or
this was an actual jersey retirement?
Did he dress up?
He did. He had a suit on.
Okay, so he listened to Draymond Green.
He had a suit on, but the rest of his family had the T-shirts that had they had Russ, and then the last S was the 2, instead of the S. And I told Chrissy didn't know who he was, and I told her he was a lot of fun to watch. And I made the comparison to D Brown because he hasn't had any professional success because I think he's pretty small. So he's kind of like D Brown. He was a great college player. Hasn't really hit in the NBA yet, but that was fun. And then we're going to touch on this next conference realignment. UT Arlington has been brought up as MVC, right?
Yeah.
ESPN here says they are set to join the WAC this summer. So they are moving conferences.
That probably makes
going
more
to the
sense.
WAC. Yes.
Who else is in the WAC right now?
That'd be Grand Canyon, Utah.
Your favorite.
Utah Valley State. Or something like that's where Rio Grande Valley is. UT Rio Grande Valley is in there.
Abilene Christian, Cal Baptist, Dixie State,
Chicago State.
A lot of Texas schools, Seattle. Okay. I mean, geographically, the Valley would have made more sense, but they don't belong in the Valley. No offense to Kansas City.
They do not.
Or Arlington. I'm sorry, that makes more sense for Arlington. They don't. They don't belong there. No.
So that leads into what we wanted to talk about. Missouri Valley has another member. Do you remember when this all started? Who I think we both kind of consensusly wanted the Missouri Valley to pick up?
Murray State UIC.
Left. Yes, Murray State UIC to go along with Belmont after Loyola left, and that is what happened. That is what's happening. UIC, according to a report from Matt Norlander. I think a couple people actually had it. I saw it from Matt Norlander first, that the Missouri Valley will announce UIC as its 12th member. This was 2 days ago. A big ad since the MVC is losing Loyola Chicago to the A10. The Valley has plucked Belmont, Murray State, plus UIC in just a few months' time. And then he goes on to say, my exact sentiments. While losing Loyola hurts, if MVC stays at 12 and schools like Murray State and Belmont remain high-level mid-majors, there's a chance for the MVC to be a two-bid NCAA tournament team. It'll require the likes of Northern Iowa, Valpo, and SIU to be good again, of course. Interesting phase ahead. And then he goes on to give credit to the commissioner, Jeff Jackson, who's kind of got ahead of this and been really good about filling these spots. Like I said, I agree with Norlander's sentiments there. Murray and Belmont are consistently the two teams that get the bid from the OVC. Yeah. Murray is getting votes in the AP poll right now. They're 17-2. If they can continue that in the MVC, there's no reason that the MVC can't be a 2-bid league consistently, with the occasional, if like the 5 seed in the tournament wins the tournament and gets the bid, they could get to a 3-bid team occasionally. Yep. They're kind of like the beginning stages of what the WCC is right now. They got Gonzaga, who's automatically in, and now they've got St. Mary's, they've got San Francisco and BYU. Like, that's going to be a 4-bid league this year. This is the Missouri Valley shaping up to be the mid-major conference in the middle of America where you can get multiple bids in. I love the move, not the UIC move per se, but I think it's the right move to stay in Chicago, although UIC is pretty irrelevant in the city of Chicago, but at least you still have your base there. You have a school there that you can market to. It's the perfect additions for the Missouri Valley, and I'm glad they got it done.
I want to go back to something you just said. You just said that the Missouri Valley Conference is turning into...
I said the beginning stages
of the West Coast Conference. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah. Isn't that where Gonzaga's at?
It is. You're not wrong. But I think the Valley was that. I think that's what the Valley used to be. I think the Valley was... That's
a good point.
The Valley was the best mid-major conference in the heart of the country.
It's a good point.
For several years. Then Creighton left. Yep. And then Wichita left. And the Valley did dip.
Now Loyola left.
And now Loyola left. Yes. So I do think they used to be that.
That's a good point.
But they haven't been since they've lost those schools.
Yeah.
Hang on. I think all three of these additions are great.
Mm-hmm.
I think from all standpoints, I think that those were the right three schools to add if you're going to add. At the time, nobody was really excited about the addition of Loyola.
I was not,
other than the fact that it was Chicago.
Yes.
I'll never forget. Were you still? You were at SIL.
SIL. Right? Yeah.
Did you go to the media day?
No.
So the Loyola's first season in the Valley, they hosted media day, basketball media day, excuse me, in their arena. And a bunch of us went up. Chris Hagstrom took a bunch of production people. That was the start of the ESPN Plus movement in the Valley. Was Chris organized that, where they did a whole day-long thing.
Like the big schools, like the big conferences.
Yes. And it was a legitimate thing. And that was exciting. Getting a Chicago school. They had Cheryl Swoops. They brought in to be their head women's basketball coach. That flamed out pretty quickly. But that's a big name. That's one of the biggest names in women's basketball. So at the time, other than the Chicago edition and having Cheryl Swoops among your coaches, there really wasn't much exciting about Loyola basketball or Loyola in general being added to the Valley. That changed pretty quickly when their men's basketball team became one of the premier mid-major teams of the last decade. So losing them obviously was going to hurt again, but I think the Valley did a good job. I commend them for the three additions that they made. I think, as you talked about, I think Belmont and Murray State have been perennial at the top of the Ohio Valley. Not that the Ohio Valley is very good, but they have been the best teams in that conference. I was just looking at it just about every single year.
Yep. Belmont had made noise in
there, but
Belmont has made noise in the NCAA tournament. They've won a couple games the last decade.
Now, I don't know athletically that UIC does much to excite you, but again, staying in Chicago, it's a big school. I didn't realize how big it was. It's a big campus. They got a lot of kids there. It's the second biggest in the state after Champaign. And I had forgotten about this, but have you seen pictures of their baseball stadium? Curtis Granderson funded like half of the
UIC's
costs. Yes. Look up Curtis Granderson Stadium. Like, it is tremendous. And it has a great view of downtown Chicago. Like, it is phenomenal. So, like, I'm all for it. I'm all for the addition to UIC to the Valley. I think it makes all the sense in the world. Get Chicago, stay in Chicago. Sure. You added two schools that are going to help you be competitive. Now you add another school, plus one of them is also in a pretty big market in Nashville. But then you add another school to stay in Chicago. I think they did all the right things to what they needed to do.
Yeah, like I said, when I think the news of Murray broke or was being discussed, when Loyola joined the Missouri Valley from the Horizon, they were not a good basketball program. And that's why people, I think, weren't very excited. They were a 500 basketball program, which is where UIC is right now. So I see a lot of similarities and a lot of parallels between the two. Now, is UIC going to go to a Final Four within the first 5 years of them joining the Missouri Valley? Probably not. But
didn't think Loyola was.
We didn't think exactly. I was just looking at Belmont season by season. I know we started talking about UIC, but Belmont has been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 NCAA tournaments since 2006. They won
pretty good.
one game in 2017. They won, or no, that's NIT. Never mind. I don't think they have won a game. I thought they had knocked off someone and upset someone, but it doesn't look like they did. I could have swore that they had won an NCAA tournament game, but it doesn't look like they did. Why do I know the name Casey Alexander? He's their head coach. Why do I know that name? He played there till 95. No. Okay.
I don't know.
Nope. I guess not who I thought it was.
I don't think you know him.
That's their head coach. They used to have Rick Byrd, who I think is now a Hall of Famer. He was a great head coach, but yeah, good news for the Missouri Valley. Anything else from college hoops?
No. Although I did just send you the link to Curtis Granderson Stadium.
I see that.
It's phenomenal.
I'll look at that.
I don't think so.
Then we will move on to Illinois football. Some news just now breaking on Twitter. Jakari Norwood has entered his name into the transfer portal, running back for the Illini, the latest player to announce their transfer from the program. Donnie Navarro, wide receiver, also put his name into the transfer portal as a grad. He will be a grad transfer. He kind of had a rough couple of years. He had one really good year, 2019, I think, when he might have led the team in receiving. I know he caught a long touchdown in the upset of Wisconsin. The last 2 years haven't been great for Donnie, although he was a good punt returner. And then the big one, Daniel Barker, who had put his name in the NFL draft. He has since pulled his name out of the draft, but has put his name into the transfer portal. I had not read or seen anything about him considering coming back to Illinois. It sounds like he's thinking of other places, but the purge of the roster continues, which I think everyone expected this offseason. A lot of turnover, a lot of changes coming from Brett Bielema's roster, and they're now coming to a head. I think those are the three big ones. There might have been a couple other ones, but that's what we got right now.
Not a lot of shock. I mean, you knew you were going to lose people. There's always going to be turnover, especially now in the era of the transfer portal, until there is some sort of guidelines for it. It's going to continue to be like this. It just got to expect it. You got to fill the gaps and let those guys do what they got to do. So not really shocked by any of it. Got to keep building. And I think he's doing the right thing and building that program the way he wants. So
as long as you can hang on to the keystones of your roster, the Isaiah Williams, the Chase Browns, the who's the backup running back? Josh McCray, Sidney Brown. As long as you can hang on to those guys and they don't bolt, then I think you'll have a good foundation. They did also sign or get a commit from another JUCO offensive lineman that they really, really wanted. Is Xylon Chrysler, I think is his name. He's a big dude. He's like 6'7", 380. He is massive to help maybe come in and get some offensive line help. But the biggest news was Luke Ford is coming back for his senior season, I think.
That broke literally minutes after we
literally
posted last week's show or recorded last week.
Yeah, we talked about there's talk of Luke Ford making an announcement soon, and then as soon as I hit stop recording, less than 2 minutes later, he tweeted out his video. He was trying to be very sly because his tweet said, "Thank you, Illini Nation," and he talked about how much he'd accomplished and how proud he was, and then he said, "I will be declaring for another year at Illinois," like at the very end of the video. So he tried to be very sly. Now, he had not put his name into the draft yet. He had not made any announcement yet. But he is coming back, which I think helps. The new offensive coordinator, Barry Lunny, recruited Ford to Arkansas, where he initially committed before decommitting and going to Georgia. So he has a relationship with Lunny, and I think Lunny uses tight ends. We say that with every offensive coordinator that gets hired, that they use tight ends, and then they never really do. I think Ford has 18 career catches, but hopefully this year has a little bit of a breakout, and good to see him come back.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you mentioned the Lunny thing makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think that was obviously a big draw for Luke to come back. I don't know what sort of future he has. He's certainly more of a blocking tight end than he is going to be ever a receiving tight end. And I'm sure that there's a future for him in the NFL to some degree. But I would still like to find a way to get him a little bit more involved in the offense. I think he's too talented. I think he's too talented to be strictly just there to block.
I agree.
I think they need to find a way to incorporate him a little bit more. be my take.
I remember the Nebraska game, the first game of the season, first play of the season. Peters rolls out and hits forward on a crossing pattern. And everyone around me was like, finally, here he is. Let's go. 35, 50 catch season for Luke Ford. And he had 15.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't understand that. I'm not an X's and O's guy when it comes to football. Maybe there's more to it than I was able to know, but like that it didn't make sense to me.
Nope.
I don't get it. But glad that he's going to come back, and hopefully they can find a way to use him a little bit more.
Yep, I agree. Now the NFL weekend that we can get into.
Oh man,
could have a whole show by itself. So just running down the scores in order here. Bengals beat the Titans 19-16 on a game-winning field goal as time expires. 49ers beat the Packers 13-10 on a game-winning field goal as time expires. Rams beat the Buccaneers 30-27 on a game-winning field goal as time expires. And the Chiefs beat the Bills 42-36 on a game-winning touchdown in overtime that ends the game. All 4 games end on a walk-off.
Nuts. It was absolute bedlam in the NFL this weekend. It was fantastic television.
Scientifically proven to be the best weekend of football by fact checker Craig Choate.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Go with that. 2 days of football ever. Absolutely insane. I don't have anything. I don't know how you can recap it. I don't know how the national shows are recapping the weekend because you just can't put into words what happened.
Yeah. It was madness. For all of those first 3 games to end in walk-off field goals was something. And then we still had the most anticipated game of the whole weekend, yep, which did not disappoint.
Nope.
I mean, as great as those first 3 games were, oh my goodness. Chiefs Bills Sunday night was fantastic football. It was just so great.
It was 26-21 with 2 minutes left in regulation. With a minute 40 left, the Bills score a touchdown to go up by 3, 29-26. 52 seconds later, the Chiefs score a 64-yard touchdown to go up 33-29. And then with 13 seconds left in the game, the Bills take a 36-33 lead. Game's over, right? 13 seconds. That's not, even if you have 3 timeouts, that's not enough to do anything. Patrick Mahomes gets the ball back, and they kick a field goal as time expires. 13 seconds left. He gets him in field goal position.
Yeah.
Insane.
It was incredible.
And then Chiefs get the opening kick of overtime, and they go down and they score. Do you ever look at win probability, like the win probability chart?
I don't follow it as much, but I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So if you're not on YouTube, I'm going to show it to the camera. That's the end of the win.
Yeah.
That's the end. Look at the changes on the end of the win probability chart. It goes from 82% Chiefs to 75% Bills to 95% Bills to 91% Chiefs to 90% Bills to a tie to 100% Chiefs. It was the biggest wave of back and forth I'd ever seen. And that came after the Rams Bucks, that also the Rams had a 99.5% chance of winning the game with 4 minutes left. With 4 minutes left, they had a 99% chance of winning the game. And it got down to Rams 50% when it was tied. Like I don't admit, I'm just rambling because I don't even know what to say.
I had kind of tuned that game out.
Me too. I fell asleep.
I had moved away from that. I still had it on, but I was doing something else at the time. And I just kept looking over and I'm like, what's happening? Like this was over. This game was over.
Yep.
And then they just kind of fell apart. I mean, they still pulled it off, but damn.
Which of those 4 games surprises you the most?
Like the outcome or the fact that they were exciting football games?
No, the outcome. What are you most surprised at?
Niners, Packers.
That's what I was going to say.
Niners, Packers. I mean, the Packers, I think we have both talked about. I think most people have talked about. I mean, they were the favorite to win the NFC. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the 49ers, anybody thought really had a prayer to come out of that. I mean, you can certainly make an argument for the Bengals Titans, but I don't think the Titans.
No one was buying the Titans. Yeah.
No one. I mean, yeah, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC, but I mean, the winner of that Chiefs Bills game was going to be the AFC champion. So, yeah, I would say 49ers. I mean, Niners over Packers I
would agree.
And the Packers season.
Did you watch that game?
Yeah, most of it at least.
The Packers went down on their opening drive and just shoved it down the 49ers' throat. Yeah. They scored on their first possession, and then they didn't score another touchdown the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And the 49ers touchdown came from a blocked punt in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left.
It was a little cold there, if I remember.
It was very cold there. It was very cold there. Yeah. Might be the last time we see Aaron Rodgers with the Packers. Sets up let's see what's first. His Bengals. Yeah. Bengals at the Chiefs, 3:00 on Sunday. Kansas City is a 7-point favorite. And then the nightcap, the AFC games on CBS. The nightcap is 49ers at the Rams on Fox at 6:30 Eastern. Rams are a 3.5-point favorite. Rams could play a Super Bowl in their home stadium. That had never happened until last year. Now we could get it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
What's your prediction?
Rams Chiefs. I mean they're the favorites, and I think that's the most likely scenario. I've been high on the Rams. I've been high on the Rams all season. I know they've kind of fluttered a little bit. They've had their moments, but I think I'm not saying they're going to beat the Chiefs, but I've kind of been high on them for a while. So that's not really a hot take or anything, but yeah.
When we picked our Super Bowl picks preseason, we both picked Packers Chiefs, but then when I saw that you picked Packers Chiefs, I picked a backup, and it was Bills Rams. So I could get one from both.
Yeah. That probably would have been my backup too had I done that. Just kind of thinking about it now, like that's probably what I would have also picked.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Rams Chiefs.
I think that's my pick too. My heart says Bengals Rams just because I love this Bengals team. And I almost went back and brought it up, but I think on draft day, I tweeted something about the Bengals need to pick Penei Sewell. Like, if you want Joe Burrow to be healthy, you have to pick Penei Sewell. And I almost went back and brought it up because Burrow got sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
So looking back, did they make the right choice? Because Jamar Chase is going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
So they drafted the Rookie of the Year. But
it's hard to say that's not the right. It's hard to say that's not the right choice.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying.
Right.
And you
it's like
certainly make a case for it, but I think they made a good choice either way. I don't know if that was right or wrong in that scenario.
Yeah. I think they got an offensive tackle in the second round or something as well.
They're good. They've been fun to watch too.
They're way ahead of schedule.
I did not think Joe Burrow was going to have the season that he had. I took him as my backup in fantasy.
Yeah.
Mahomes was my starter, so I never really needed Burrow. I mean, Mahomes struggled for a little while, but they're ahead of schedule is right. I think that they were. I think that was kind of obviously a surprise to a lot of people. So good for them. I'd be happy with the Bengals in there too. I'd be fine with that.
I'm kind of okay with any of the outcomes. I told Chrissy this last night because I was rooting for the Rams to beat the Bucs, and she was very caught off guard because of what I've said about the Rams in the past. But one, I just didn't want the Bucs to repeat. I I don't like repeat champs unless it's my team, of course.
Which team? You have like 7.
Well, my head, I was thinking St. Louis Cardinals. I wasn't thinking football for this. And then 2, I still hate the Rams. I hate Stan Kroenke more than anyone else on planet Earth, but I adore Cooper Kupp. I like Matthew Stafford. I kind of like most of their players, and I don't know. I told her maybe it's because the whole Rams and St. Louis thing has been put on the back burner and it's settled, and we're not going to get any more drama out of that, which I really wish the Rams would have just laid the hammer and they settled for pennies on the dollar. But I think I'm kind of over my Rams hate. I still hate Stan Kroenke and Kevin Dimhoff, but
there's no other ties.
The franchise. Yeah.
There's no other ties to it. I mean, it's just that one person or small group of people that made that decision.
Yeah.
But this is a totally new roster. This is not the same. They're basically different colors. Like, it's just like, it doesn't even feel like it's the same team, same organization.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm with you. I was never a Rams fan, but I can understand where you're coming from. But yeah, I've been, as I said, I've been in on them, and I think also big Cooper Kupp fan. Think he should be the NFL MVP. I know he won't get it, but
I agree with you.
I agree with you. It'll obviously go to a quarterback, and you can make that argument. But just I'm pulling for them. I think at this point, don't really have a preference of either AFC team, I guess, but I think I'm probably pulling for the Rams. Just I'd like to see him do it. I'd like to see Beckham get one. Matt Stafford. I mean, it's one of those situations where I knew I just had this feeling.
As soon as he left Detroit.
As soon as he leaves, he's gonna win one. That's just how it happens.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
2 questions though.
Okay.
You kind of touched on it earlier. First question: where does Aaron Rodgers play next year? Gut. Just give me a gut answer.
Pittsburgh.
Okay. Second question: does Tom Brady play another game of football?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's it. Shut it down.
Okay. Great weekend of playoff football. Hopefully another good one on Sunday. I guess this week later. All right, we got a big entertainment section here, and I know we're already going pretty long, but we got some stuff we want to talk about. And I'm just gonna throw it up to Logan. I finally saw No Way Home.
Hey, did you go to a theater?
I went to a theater.
You went to a basketball game and a movie theater over the course of last week.
Yep, me and Christy went to a Thursday afternoon matinee.
All right.
How
No many Way people Home. Were in the theater?
Me and Christy and one other person.
Seriously?
Seriously.
That's awesome. Good for you. Every time I've seen it, both times it's been jam-packed with people.
It was the theater with the reclining seats, so a lot more room. So 2 rows in front of us reclining, but if it was normal seats, it would have been like 8 rows in front of us. They were way up there. So yeah, I saw No Way Home.
Let's talk.
Spider-Man and Marvel might be my favorite superhero.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of the Spider-Man trilogy were great. I don't have many flaws with them. Iron Man had the one that was kind of a dud.
Correct.
What are the other trilogies? Even the Avengers. Age of Ultron was kind of a dud.
I think the only trilogy that can somewhat compete is Captain America. I think First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and Civil War are a comparable trilogy to what Spider-Man was. I think that's the only one that really can. Iron Man, no. Thor, no.
Yeah.
We'll see Guardians 3 if it's any good. The second one wasn't really a fan favorite. I think those are the only ones they've done. Yes, the Avengers. I guess technically there's been 4 of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Captain America is the only one that could really you can make an argument for. Yep. I think quality wise, I think Captain America has the best of them. I think Winter Soldier is the best of all 6 of those movies if you're comparing them. If I said this to somebody else, I think if you're comparing the Captain America trilogy and the Spider-Man trilogy, I would say Winter Soldier is the best movie. And then the next 3 best are all Spider-Man movies. And then, well, maybe Civil War. Civil War is probably higher.
Civil War was good. Yeah.
There. Regardless, I think those are the top 2 for sure.
You're saying Captain America has the best, but they also have the worst. And then Spider-Man's. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. This one was, it was just so much fun seeing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
I think they did it really well. And the way they brought, I know we're kind of giving spoilers away, but it's been more than a month now, so we don't care. The way they brought Doc Ock and Goblin and the way they brought them back in, it wasn't hard to comprehend. Like it made sense the way that they did it. I saw the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I've seen them all.
You didn't,
but I don't remember the plot or anything. And I completely forgot that Jamie Foxx was in it. So when he popped up, I was like, oh, I forgot about him. I just thought it was fun. Like it was a fun movie. Really enjoyed it. And there's not much else I can say. It's one that it will go in the rotation of when I need to put something on that, like, I don't need to, when I don't want to put something new on that I have to pay attention to, but I need to put something on, like it'll go into that movie rotation. Like if I just want a fun movie that I could just have on, and if I look away for 20 minutes, like it's okay, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun movie. It is a crowd pleasing fan service experience that get you out of your seat, and it was a lot of fun. I would say Homecoming is better,
probably,
but I would say I enjoyed this one more.
Yep.
I've mentioned it on this show or on other shows, whatever. I do have some qualms with the story a little bit in No Way Home. I think they knew where they wanted the story to end, but I don't think they knew how they wanted to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that there's some holes in some of that logic. You can take me so far with suspension of disbelief. I understand that these are comic book fantasy movies. So like I can do that to an extent, but there are certain things in that movie that I'm like, that just doesn't really add up to me. Regardless, it's an amazing fun time at the movies for sure.
Yep.
The Spider-Man, just seeing them all 3 together was fantastic. Andrew Garfield just absolutely stole the movie. He's a great Spider-Man, but his movies were not very good.
Right. Which
is obviously why rebooted it again. It went with Tom Holland, but he stole the movie to me.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Willem Dafoe were the MVPs of that movie.
I read stuff when I got home about it, and he was very appreciative of getting the call to do it because he thought that there was a lot of loose ends and that they could do a better job with his Spider-Man. So I think it meant a lot to him. I saw that he lied to Emma Stone. She asked him if he was in it. And
he lied to everybody.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
he lied to everybody.
They had to. I like that they kind of recreated the meme of all the Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Yep.
When they were in the lab. I liked that they got MJ more involved because, like, in the last 2, I feel like she's kind of just been like very quiet and supportive. And this, she played a really important role along with Ned, who is his right-hand man. I thought it was cool that Ned could do the Doctor Strange thing.
Yep.
Marissa Tomei is still a babe. I just wanted to throw that in there. But fun movie. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it.
Yeah.
If not, as soon as it comes out on streaming, watch it because it's fun. It's very fun.
It'll be a while. I was talking to a friend of ours who also listens to the show, and he
no name drop, no shout out.
Alex Wilson. Alex
Okay.
Wilson. He had just watched this movie recently as well, and he called me and was raving about it and everything, how great it was, and said it was like number one for him in his Marvel ranking. I'm like, okay, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah.
It's great. I have it in like top 10, top 11, something like that.
Would it be the most fun? No, Guardians is fun too, right? I don't remember Guardians.
I don't think for me personally, I don't think it tops the Infinity War or Endgame movie experience.
Yeah.
And Guardians is still my favorite.
Yeah.
But I think you could put it somewhere after those three personally for me in terms of in pure enjoyment standpoint. Yeah, I'd say it's certainly in that discussion. Yeah, for sure.
All right. We're going long here, so let's move on.
Who cares?
I also watched Don't Look Up.
Hey, look at you. Look at you. All these movies with 3 words in it that are confusing people and Don't Look Up. Yes. Okay. What are your thoughts?
That one, not a great movie. I don't think, but like it is so timely.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense on multiple different levels in a lot of different aspects. It makes so much sense. I enjoyed it. I might watch it again. It had its moments. It was funny, but it's not like on my favorites list or one that I would give like 100 out of 100. It was good. It was good.
No, it's been very divisive. I know a lot of people that really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people that did not enjoy it. It will most likely be a Best Picture nominee at the Oscars.
Wow.
I don't agree with that. I don't have it anywhere near that mark personally. Takeaway from
is that because of the cast? Like, does that happen sometimes? Like, it's got such a star-studded cast.
Honestly, I think it's more Adam McKay. I think they've really liked his first 2 movies. The cast certainly has something to do with it, but none of them are going to be nominated. It's not going to get any acting nominations. It'll get a screenplay nomination. And that honestly might be it, but it'll still probably be at the Best Picture just because they have to go to 10 this year. It's a requirement that there's going to be 10 Best Picture nominees. And I can't tell you enough that are going to be in that conversation. Again, for me personally, it's not up there, but I also have like Spider-Man up there and Kanto and Mitchell versus the Machines and movies that like aren't going to be in those discussion either. Yeah. I just felt like I was being preached to for 2 hours.
Yep.
Like that was my thing. Like I understand what you're saying and I can agree with you on some things, but I just felt like I was being preached to the whole movie. And I just didn't really think too much about it. I didn't really love it. I get it. I understand why it's getting some of the hype, some of the praise, but I don't think it was anybody's best performance. I don't think it was his best script. I don't think it was his best movie. Part of me wishes he would go back and do silly comedies with his no longer friend, Will Ferrell. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, that was my take. So anyway, go on.
I agree with that. I did not realize watching the previews that was Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a whole lot of takeaways compared to No Way Home. And then my last thing, I have one box set of a TV show.
You personally own
in my possession.
One box set.
Guess what it is?
I'm supposed to guess what it is. Friends.
Nope. Similar.
Lost.
Nope. It's all dusty. So that shows you how often I watch it because it's streaming now.
I don't know. Oh, yes. I knew that. Yes.
How I Met Your Mother.
Did you watch
Have you watched How I Met Your Father?
I have watched the first 2 episodes of How I Met Your Father. I have some thoughts.
I have as well. So let's talk.
That's one show that I don't own on DVD. I forgot that I think I knew you owned that. I was excited when they announced this.
Yeah.
Just because I was a big fan of the original show. I don't totally Hilary Duff was supposed to do the Lizzie McGuire show, and then when they decided to not do that, they just put her into this one. When I saw like trailers and previews and stuff, I wasn't super excited anymore. And honestly, I don't know that I was really going to watch it, but I had heard that there was the moment in the pilot that was worth watching for that. So that's pretty much why I watched it, just to see what this moment was.
Okay.
And I'll admit, it did get to me a little bit. It made me smile, made me laugh. But other than that, they lack chemistry. It's just, I don't know who these characters are. I'm not sure why I'm supposed to care.
Yeah.
I don't know. The first one just had so much more heart, I felt like. And I don't know. I'll give it more chances. I'll keep watching just to kind of see how it goes, just because I really like the first one, the original, so much. But my expectations are pretty low, I think. How about you? Where are you at?
I thoroughly enjoyed the first two of this.
Really? That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I also went in with expectations of, all right, this is a reboot of a classic that most of the country love. Like, this is not going to work. But there are a lot of similarities. I mean, it's done by the same people.
Oh, for sure.
So I get the same vibe that I did with the voiceover, although I do like the fact that they have what's her name? Sex in the City.
I can't think, because she's not in the Sex and the City reboot. She's doing this instead. Why can't I think what her name is either?
Well, anyway,
Kim Cattrall. Kim
Cattrall. Yes, Kim Cattrall is the Bob Saget, the narrator.
R.I.P.
Yeah, of the show as Sadie. Is that her name? Yeah. So Sadie is the Ted.
Sophie
is the Ted of How I Met Your Father. So Kim is 2050 is the year she's telling her kids, but it takes place in 2022. So it starts with a Tinder date that she finally meets, and now this guy's moving, and it gave me a lot of parallels, and I enjoyed it.
That's fair.
I went to Hulu today because I thought the next episode was out, and it doesn't come out till midnight, so wasn't able to watch the next episode. I will say, though, I loved How I Met Your Mother while it was airing live, but anytime I go back and watch it, it doesn't do the same. Like, as opposed to Friends, every time I watch Friends, I'll laugh at the same joke in Friends 50 times.
Yeah.
But How I Met Your Mother does not have the rewatch effect that the show, every other show, does for me.
I will admit, I have not revisited it.
I just watch it like on syndication, or
yes, I will catch some.
Yeah.
It's one of those that I feel like at some point I would. This is just the fault of the world we live in. It's not on Netflix, so
anymore.
It was at one point. But therefore there are commercials, and I think it's
on Hulu.
There's commercials.
Oh, that's true.
When I watch it, unless you pay, and I don't pay for the non-commercial
commercials on Hulu.
So I think, I don't know, that's not a really good reason to not watch it again, because it was one of my favorite shows when it aired. I loved it so much. I had some issues with the last season, like everybody did.
Yeah.
But I really loved it, and I don't really have a lot against this reboot. It's only been 2 episodes. I can't really give it much flack at this point, but everything's getting a reboot anymore, and hardly any of them actually do well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I have watched reboots of Full House and Boy Meets World. Granted, Boy Meets World was geared towards a much younger audience, so that was never for me. It was actually better than I think it got some credit for, but again, it's for a much younger audience. But I've watched that. Fuller House. I watched the 24 reboot when they did that. I didn't watch Dexter, this most recent one. I watched the original run, but I didn't watch the reboot. But either way, there's just, most of these just don't work that well.
Yeah.
I just don't know how long this will go. And I just feel like I'm not going to nearly be as invested. When How I Met Your Mother aired, I didn't jump on it at the beginning.
Me neither.
I was a few seasons in before I got into it.
I think
I was caught up to it when the last few seasons aired, so I was watching those in real time. I watched the series finale. Here's a name drop for you. I watched the series finale of How I Met Your Mother on a TV screen the size of my computer monitor. I hope she's listening to this show, but Amber Polchinski. I was at Amber's apartment because she was one of my only friends there that was still watching How I Met Your Mother. So I was at her apartment, and that's where I watched it. I'm pretty darn sure. And
I remember I was at my house watching with my roommate and friend Kyle Crawford. He did not watch the show. He was not caught up. I was the only one home at the house at the time that watched. And I remember, spoiler alert for those that have not seen How I Met Your Mother, the series finale, when they're all sitting on the couch and Robin is sitting like this. She never shows her left hand. Like 5 minutes into the episode, I'm like, they're divorced. They broke up. They're not married. And I was like, I knew it. I knew they were going to go there.
Yeah, I had some qualms with that last season, but whatever. Well, that's great. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I will continue to give it a shot and see how it goes. But that's great. That's wonderful.
What is this celebrity gossip that Logan put on the rundown?
2 things.
Okay.
Bill Hader and Anna Kendrick? What? What? First John Mulaney and Olivia Munn. Then Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian. And now Bill Hader and Anna Kendrick. Sorry, my Siri's talking to me. What? Whatever. I love it. Love Hader. Love Kendrick. Great. Good for them. They played siblings on Noel. Very underrated, underappreciated Christmas movie from a couple years ago.
By the way, this is a conversation that me and Logan had on text to a T. This is the identical conversation we had on text like 4 days ago.
Yes.
And I told Logan that I just watched Noel this Christmas, like Christmas Eve for the first time.
I enjoyed it.
It was okay.
I enjoyed it.
Not a Christmas classic, but it's okay.
I knew, as I told you in the text message, that was obviously going to be a movie that I was going to love. I mean, it's Christmas, it's Anna Kendrick, it's Bill Hader. Like there was zero chance I wasn't going to love that movie. The second thing, not nearly as exciting, but do you see that Colin Jost and Pete Davidson bought a boat? bought a old Staten Island ferry that they're going to turn into a bar.
Oh, I had not seen that.
Yes, they want to turn it into a bar.
I kind of love that.
And
I saw the weekend update today. I watched the weekend update.
The weekend update thing was great. But yeah, they bought a boat, and because Mike Golick Jr. was the one that made the comment on Twitter that they should name it Stefan's.
Yeah,
Stefan is Hader's character from SNL on Weekend Update. But yeah, so yeah, that was just exciting. I was like, all right, cool, that's fun. That's it. That's my celebrity gossip for the day.
It was only a matter of time before Anna Kendrick was in some sort of celebrity relationship, right? Like she'd stayed out of it for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So it was only a matter of time before she found someone.
Sure. Apparently
too bad it wasn't you.
Hader. Too bad it wasn't me. I'm taken. Sorry, Anna. I know you tried. I tried a couple times. She blocked me on Twitter.
Are you serious?
No, Craig, I'm not serious. Gosh.
Do you ever, speaking of Twitter,
but do
you ever stumble across people that have blocked you on Twitter and you don't know why?
Yeah, it has happened a couple times. I don't remember who it was, but there was at least one or two in the last few years that thought it was odd.
Yeah, there's a couple that I'm like, I've never added you. I've never tweeted at you. What did I do to piss you off? On the flip side of that, this happened fairly recently within the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 months. I was on Facebook and I somehow stumbled upon accounts that I have muted. Mm-hmm.
Like actual friends of mine that I had somehow at some point, either intentionally or not, probably not intentionally, had muted their accounts. So I hadn't been seeing things that they had posted. Like I have a friend who like posts a lot of movie stuff, and like I just hadn't been seeing his posts for I don't know how long. I had no idea that he was doing all this stuff. Don't know how it happened. So clearly that stuff can be done accidentally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that has happened to me. Did you have a notable name of somebody that had blocked you that
No, there's just one. I'm not going to call him out, but there's one that I'm like, I've never interacted with you, dude. Like, why do you have me blocked? I don't have many people blocked, but I utilize the mute function a lot on Twitter.
I've done that.
I have a lot of people muted on Twitter. Facebook, I've unfollowed people on Facebook so I don't see their posts a number of times.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you have my phone number muted too. Just
okay.
That out there.
Okay.
I wanted to call you out today too, because I had sent you the text message about recording, and then I hadn't heard anything for like 10 minutes, and then you tweeted something. Like, come on, man. Like, I know you're looking at your phone or your computer or something, and you're just blatantly not responding to my text message.
Yeah.
You're the worst.
It's not going to get any better. I know. Although you might have texted me. It was right about when I had the dog issue today.
Could have been.
It was right about that.
But
time.
Shortly after is when you tweeted about the Cardinals. So you weren't super busy.
We don't have time to get into that because we're already almost 2 hours in. But all right. Like I said, we're 2 hours in. You got anything else?
No.
This one might be one that I have to cut out a section where we just rambled on for a little bit because I feel like this is a little bit longer. That's Logan Lee. I'm Craig Choate. Thank you for listening. Like we said earlier, if you're still here, if you're hanging out with us, give this video a like on YouTube, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, give us a rating and all that. Get in the comment section on YouTube as well. Let us know your thoughts on anything that we talked about on the show. Hit us up on Twitter at Craig David Choate, at the Logan Lee, at No One Asked Us Pod. Anything, just get at us, interact with us, and we can get your thoughts. You can get our thoughts on what you heard on this episode. Illinois does play Tuesday night. We might do a watch along. We might just do a post game show. We'll see how tomorrow goes. We might try a watch along again.
We'll see what kind of mood Craig's in.
Yeah, since it's not a Friday night game. Wasn't the first one a Friday night game? Yeah, maybe we'll get more people in with us on a Tuesday night instead of a Friday night. And then we'll do a post game show and get that out for you after the game. I think that's it. Anything else, Logan?
No, sir.
All right. For Logan Lee, I'm Craig Choate. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.
335 days till Christmas.
Oh, my gosh.
Bye.